Chapter 31, Destroying Corpses and Eradicating Traces, There May Be Danger Here. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Boom. 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 A corpse went flying, more explosions. Lin Moyu detonated all the corpses, making sure nothing was left behind. Then, he entered the dungeon. The protesters from before finally dared to approach. The explosions had been so powerful, it felt like their skin was being scraped off. Damn, they're all dead. Not a single one left standing. Wiped them out, body and soul. That's cold. We've really stirred up the Dynasty Guild now. They won't let this go. What do we do? Wang Yi spoke up. Look, the Dynasty Guild isn't going to take this lying down. If they catch us, we're dead, no matter what we say. Here's what I propose, we all scatter. Leave Shihai City, get out of Jiangning Province, and stay far away from the Dynasty Guild's turf. There are other places to level up. The Dynasty Guild isn't God, they can't find everyone. Everyone quickly agreed he was right. The Dynasty Guild played dirty. Once they got their hands on you, you were finished. Wang Yi clasped his hands. I'm out of here. Maybe we'll meet again. See ya. Spurred by his words, everyone bolted. The dungeon entrance was deserted in seconds. The fires died down, leaving only the dark vortex of the Shihai mine instance, humming quietly. Moonlight reclaimed the area. Half an hour later, several people teleported out of the dungeon. Wang Zihao looked disappointed. They still hadn't gotten the Goblin King's crystal core. He'd have to wait 12 hours to go back in, but he still had time. The big exam was still a few days away. He could run the dungeon at least 4 more times. Hey, where is everyone? Where's Xiao Ji? Where did all those randos go? Something's wrong. Xiao Ji's gone, all the randos are gone. What happened? Wang Zihao's companions panicked. They were only level 17, with much less experience than Xiao Ji and the others. They looked to Wang Zihao for leadership. He was the young president of the Dynasty Guild, after all, but Wang Zihao was just as confused. A total question mark. Finally, he said, launch a signal flare. If Xiao Ji's around, he'll see it. A flare shot into the air, exploding into a huge ball of light. It could be seen for miles. When the light died out, there was still no response, meaning Xiao Ji and the others were gone. Wang Zihao realized something must have happened while they were inside. There was no other explanation. Could Xiao Ji be dead? With their combined strength, they were top dogs around here. He dismissed the thought. Even if they'd been killed, there'd be signs of a fight, but there was nothing. Not only is Xiao Ji gone, but everyone else too. Something went down here. It could be dangerous. Let's get out of here and see if we can contact Xiao Ji. The atmosphere was too creepy. Wang Zihao decided to leave. Inside the dungeon, Lin Moyu and his 64 skeleton warriors were tearing through everything. Same strategy as before, experience points racking up fast. This time was even more efficient. Lin Moyu reached the end of the instance in just an hour. The 64 skeleton warriors surrounded the Goblin King, unleashing a relentless barrage. Sparks flew like iron on iron. Lin Moyu knew what to expect. He interrupted the Goblin King's skills with Soul Flame every time it tried to use one. The Soul Flame was almost instantaneous, faster than the Goblin King's attacks. In under 30 seconds, the big boss of the nightmare-level dungeon was dead. Frustrated beyond words, killed the Goblin King. Experience plus 40,000. Obtained a bronze-level weapon. Goblin King's magic book. Obtained a low-level monster crystal core. Sure enough, this time, instead of the Goblin King's crystal core, he got a low-level one. The Goblin King's crystal core only dropped once every 100 days, which made it especially valuable. Lin Moyu figured he could find an alchemist at Xiaojing Academy to craft the Goblin King's ring from the core. That kind of boss-level jewelry was useful for any class or level. Lin Moyu checked out the Goblin King's magic book. Goblin King's magic book, bronze level, spirit plus 10, constitution plus 10. Mage-type skills increase by 3%, available at level 12. The stats weren't ideal, but he could use it. Holding a magic book seemed kinda cool. The 3% boost to mage skills would help with Soul Flame and Corpse Explosion, but not with the skeleton warriors. Skeleton warriors probably didn't count as magic or mage skills. The leveling up glow hadn't faded yet. Lin Moyu hit level 13 while fighting the Goblin King. Experience requirements are starting to climb. The next dungeon should get me to level 14. To reach level 15, I'll need to run it 3 more times. If I time it right, I can run 5 more dungeons, which should get me to level 16. A little behind schedule, but level 16 should be good enough for the entrance exam at Xiaojing Academy. Lin Moyu left the dungeon. It was eerily quiet outside. Everyone's gone. Lin Moyu thought for a moment, and pieced it together. Leaving was probably the smartest thing those randos could do. He scanned the area, then kept moving. He melted into the darkness and disappeared. Chapter 32. Has your brain been eaten by a mad dog? You are listening at novelfull.audio. The sun climbed higher, ushering in a new day. Another team finally arrived at the dungeon entrance. Hey, where is everyone today? It's usually packed here. Weird, where'd they all go? The team was puzzled but shrugged it off. They chose normal difficulty and headed into the dungeon. Soon, others began showing up, and the dungeon entrance buzzed with activity again. Once the dungeon cooldown ended, Lin Moyu returned and entered. What a strange dude. He's so cold, doesn't say a word. That summoned creature of his is so awesome. A little scary, but still cool. Cool's not gonna help you, he just ignores us. I saw him go in alone, like he's trying to solo it. It's Lin Moyu. Xia Shui spotted him entering the dungeon alone from a distance. The skeleton warrior beside Lin Moyu was hard to miss. She knew he was the only one with such a summon in the world. A necromancer was one of a kind. Xia Shui's gaze was complicated. He's trying to solo it. She bit her lip. She just hit level 10 today and came straight to the dungeon. Even at level 10, her rare elemental mage status made it easy to find a team. West Sea Mine was only a level 14 dungeon, not that difficult, especially on normal, but soloing it was still tough. The fact that Lin Moyu was able to solo it, and was once again one step ahead of her, was unexpected. A hint of dissatisfaction flashed in her eyes. I won't lose to you. Just you wait. She quickly found a team and entered the dungeon as well. Lin Moyu blazed through the nightmare difficulty dungeon. After leveling up yesterday, he now commanded 68 skeleton warriors. 12 hours of meditation had fully restored his mental strength. Upon entering the instance, Lin Moyu summoned 4 more cruisers as fighters. Now, his army of 72 skeleton warriors was a force to be reckoned with. His efficiency had increased. Where the skeleton warriors marched, nothing survived, and since Lin Moyu was intimately familiar with the dungeon, his progress was even faster. Just 45 minutes later, Lin Moyu ran into an old friend. Wake up, don't sleep. The Goblin King materialized on the skeleton warrior's sword. By the time it stood up, its life force was already depleted. It tried to spew fire, but Soul Flame immediately silenced it, interrupting its skills. In under 30 seconds, the Goblin King was back down, feeling cheated. Killed the Goblin King, experience plus 40,000. Obtained a bronze-level weapon, Goblin King's Longbow. Obtained a low-level monster, Crystal Nucleus. Goblin King's Longbow, bronze level, strength plus 10, agility plus 10, bow skill power increased by 3%, usable after level 12. The loot was the same as always. Lin Moyu glanced at it and stashed it in his inventory. The Goblin King's eyes were full of resentment. It looked as if it recognized Lin Moyu. Don't be bummed out. I'll be back a few more times. Either way, you're the one getting killed. What difference does it make who kills you, right? And I'll kill you faster, so you suffer less. Honestly, I don't want to kill you, but I have to. Gotta level up. Lin Moyu muttered to the Goblin King, regardless of whether it understood or not. As expected, he hadn't quite leveled up yet, still 20% away from level 14. Maybe next time. Lin Moyu left the instance and quickly departed the area. In the afternoon, a group from the Dynasty Guild arrived at the dungeon. The young president, Wang Zhihao, wasn't with them, nor were the people he'd teamed up with the day before. This time, the Dynasty Guild wasn't there to run the dungeon, but to investigate what had happened yesterday. Zhao Jinyao and the dozen or so people he'd brought with him had vanished without a trace. The other players who'd been present had also disappeared, like they'd been wiped from the face of the earth. The Dynasty Guild members kept a low profile this time, avoiding any excessive behavior. They were even polite when asking questions, but all they got for their trouble was a bunch of I don't knows. Everyone present had just arrived that day and knew nothing about the previous day's events. They investigated for a long time but came up empty. In the end, they had no choice but to retreat. Somehow, news of the Dynasty Guild blocking the dungeon spread, sparking widespread outrage. The Professional Association issued a warning to the Dynasty Guild today: if they tried that again, the consequences would be severe. Instances were a resource for all humans, not something their guild could arbitrarily block. Not even for an hour. At the Dynasty Guild headquarters, President Wang Wei gave Wang Zhihao a dressing down. Has a rabid dog chewed up your brain? How did you ever come up with the idea of blocking the dungeon? Do you think we can get away with anything just because we're the Dynasty Guild? Do you think the Xinxia Empire and the Professionals Association are just a joke? If you want to die, go die alone. Don't drag the Dynasty Guild down with you. You're grounded at the guild for the next few days. Your level's high enough anyway. Just stay here and get ready for the big exam. Wang Wei finished tearing Wang Zhihao a new one. Wang Zhihao lowered his head, kept quiet, and finally asked, "What about Zhao Ji and the others?" "I've already sent people to investigate. Don't worry about that. It's beyond your ability to make so many people disappear at once." Wang Wei waved his hand, dismissing him. Wang Zhihao was already level 16 anyway, which was enough to get him into Xiaojing Academy. Locking him up for a few days and preventing him from leveling wouldn't have a big impact. Chapter 33 Drag Monsters, Mass Kill, Instant Boss. You are listening at novelfull.audio. That night, Lin Moyu dove into the dungeon for the fourth time. This time, he faced 76 skeleton warriors. After clearing the first 3 runs, he knew this place like the back of his hand. As he entered, a brand new idea sparked in his mind. Might be worth a shot. If it works, I can use it in other dungeons later. Without hesitation, he sent all the skeleton warriors charging into the mine like a flood. The skeleton warriors drew the attention of a ton of monsters, but instead of fighting, they kept running towards the depths of the dungeon. The scene became bizarre. A swarm of skeleton warriors sprinted ahead, followed by a mob of goblin monsters. Trailing behind the goblins was Lin Moyu. He trailed the group with a grin, just running along. Now that the skeleton warriors were bronze level, the maximum distance between them and Lin Moyu had increased to 1,000 meters. He just had to stay within that range. With nearly 100 monsters in tow, they stampeded all the way to the Mine Wolf King. The arrival of the mob woke the boss. The Mine Wolf King lunged at the skeleton warriors, who completely ignored him. They waited until all the monsters had caught up. On Lin Moyu's command, the skeleton warriors tightened their formation, slowly compressing the group of monsters into an ever smaller space. Meanwhile, Lin Moyu positioned himself at the mine entrance. Suddenly, a skeleton warrior struck, instantly killing a goblin mine guard. The warrior tossed the corpse high in the air. Explosion time. Lin Moyu, ready and waiting, activated his skill, detonating the corpse. Boom. The entire mine shuddered, with chunks of rock and dust raining down from the walls. The goblin mine guards dropped like flies. Lin Moyu was flooded with notifications, too many to read. He didn't even bother trying. Fresh corpses piled up, and he unleashed corpse explosion 10 times in a row. 10 deafening blasts ripped through the dungeon, scraping away a layer of the mine floor. The Mine Wolf King, unable to escape back to the passage, was caught in the chain reaction and exploded. At that moment, the iron gate leading to the passage swung open, and a flood of mine wolves poured out. Lin Moyu realized the gates opened automatically. The boss didn't need to run back and call for reinforcements. "Alright, let's pull them all into the mine," Lin Moyu commanded, and the skeleton warriors charged back into the depths. And what was waiting there? Besides a handful of goblin stragglers, the Goblin King. Without hesitation, the skeleton warriors dragged hundreds of mine wolves with them. Lin Moyu was right behind them. Just then, a radiant glow enveloped him. the wave of explosive monster bombing had pushed him to level 14, barely 5 minutes had passed since he entered the instance, the speed was insane, the skeleton warriors herded the monsters down the mine shaft, gathering every creature in the pit. By the time they reached the bottom, over 200 monsters were crammed together, goblins, mine wolves, all in a tangled mess. The Goblin King groggily woke up, his eyes filled with confusion. What the heck was going on? Here I come again. Lin Moyu had arrived. The skeleton warriors stopped running and launched their counterattack, Furious Blow. The broadsword glowed red as a skeleton warrior swung the skill. A mine wolf howled as it exploded into gore, corpse explosion. Boom! Boom! The mine rumbled with each explosion, threatening to collapse. Experience points soared, notifications flashed like crazy, materials overflowed into his inventory. The Goblin King, still trying to stand, didn't even get a chance. A dozen explosions later, he faceplanted, dead. This time was even worse than the last few, but at least it was quick. If he felt any pain, it was only for a few seconds. Lin Moyu looked at the Goblin King's frustrated face and sighed. I won't make you do this 3 more times. He implied that the Goblin King still had to die 3 more times in the future. But hey, you're used to dying. People come to kill you every day. Killed the Goblin King, experience plus 40,000. Obtained a bronze level weapon, Goblin King's Staff. Obtained a low-level monster, Crystal Nucleus. Goblin King's Staff, bronze level, Spirit plus 10, Constitution plus 10, Mage type skills increased by 3%, usable after level 12. He glanced at his experience bar, 60% of the way to level 15, next time he could reach level 15. After reaching level 15, the experience needed to level would increase again at least 2 to 3 times. If I calculate correctly, I can enter 3 more times at most, and I should be able to reach level 16 without any problems. But it all depends on the experience requirements after level 15. Outside the dungeon, the usual hustle and bustle had returned, a few less people than before, and the groups had changed. Lin Moyu didn't recognize a single face. He overheard snippets of conversations that the Dynasty Guild had arrived. Looks like they hadn't gotten any useful intel. Lin Moyu didn't leave this time. Instead, he found a quiet spot to meditate, for more skeleton warriors had been added, bringing his total to 76. Each skeleton warrior's first stats were at 4600, higher than the nightmare-level dungeon boss, Goblin King. Their only shortcoming was their weak skills. They didn't have lethal abilities like the Goblin King's Flame Breath. As Lin Moyu meditated, a message from a skeleton warrior flashed. Someone was approaching. Chapter 34. Why can you ignore cooldown time? You are listening at novelfull.audio. How old are you? He recognized the voice and opened his eyes to see Xia Shui. She had a smudge of dust on her pretty face, and you could practically see the magical energy rolling off her. She'd clearly just come out of a dungeon after a fight. She was staring at Lin Moyu, looking annoyed. Lin Moyu said calmly, level 14. What? Xia Shui shrieked. How could you level up that fast? She teamed up with other players and run the normal difficulty of the Shihai Mine dungeon twice in a row, going from level 10 to level 11. 2 runs had completely wiped her out. Even if Lin Moyu was running instances solo, there was no way he could be leveling up that quickly. There was just no way Xia Shui could imagine Lin Moyu was playing on nightmare difficulty. Lin Moyu didn't bother to explain. Believe it or not, he didn't care. Knowing Lin Moyu, Xia Shui knew he wasn't one to BS. If he said he was level 14, he was level 14. Her annoyance just kept growing. The higher the level, the slower you level up. On the first day in the newbie dungeon, she was level 5 and Lin Moyu was level 7, 2 levels behind. Logically, she should be closing the gap, right? But now she was only level 11, and he was level 14, putting even more distance between them. Xia Shui huffed, I'm not giving up. With that, she spun around and walked off. Lin Moyu watched her go, unsure what to say. For years, he'd always been one step ahead of Xia Shui. Before they changed classes, he'd always aced every subject, and she'd always come in second. After the class change, he leveled up fast, leaving her in the dust again. Lin Moyu knew she was just competitive and wanted to challenge him. It had always been like this, before and after the job change. But he never gave her the chance. Suddenly, he saw Xia Shui and a few other people heading into the dungeon. That's weird, didn't she just come out? How is she going back in so fast? Why isn't there a cooldown time on the dungeon? Lin Moyu couldn't believe his eyes. He tried it on both normal and nightmare difficulty, and the dungeon always had a cooldown, a standard one after clearing nightmare. He couldn't even enter the normal dungeon for another 12 hours, so how was Xia Shui getting in again so quickly? Lin Moyu was certain she'd just come out of the dungeon a little while ago. He could still feel the residual energy from fighting on her, and there was a trace of the Goblin King's aura that was unmistakable. While Lin Moyu puzzled over it, he had the skeleton warriors keep an eye on her. 2 hours later, Xia Shui reappeared at the dungeon entrance. She'd cleared another dungeon. As she came out, she glanced back at Lin Moyu. He could see the exhaustion in her face. She was running on fumes. From the constant fighting, in less than 10 minutes, Xia Shui had found another team and was heading back into the instance. Lin Moyu noticed that she seemed to use some kind of item before going in. There was a flash of light around her. Lin Moyu guessed that it was this item that allowed her to bypass the dungeon cooldown. I'll have to ask her about it if I get the chance, he thought. Then he went back to his meditation, letting his mental strength recover. As he leveled up, his mental power became more important. His base mental power was already at 700. Far surpassing his other stats. That was typical for a mage class. Insane mental power. The trade-off was that other stats were trash. There was no balance. Every class had its strengths and weaknesses, and Lin Moyu accepted that. A few hours later, he heard the sound of heavy footsteps. Xia Shui trudged over to him and collapsed beside him, completely wiped out. Even with no cooldown, there was no way she could keep grinding dungeons forever. Her body was giving out. I'm beat, she groaned. Xia Shui didn't even care about the skeleton warriors nearby. Lin Moyu was her classmate, so she wasn't afraid of them. After resting for a bit, Xia Shui regained a little energy. I'm already level 12. I'll catch up to you soon. At level 12, teaming up in a normal dungeon, it takes at least 3 or 4 runs to gain a level. Catching up with him would be tough. Lin Moyu looked at the exhausted Xia Shui. Aren't you tired? Xia Shui snorted. Tired? Duh. I don't even want to lift a finger right now. Why? Xia Shui glared at him. Why? You have the nerve to ask me why? After you've been one-upping me for so many years, I gotta beat you for once. Just because of that? Lin Moyu hadn't realized she held such a grudge. He knew she always wanted to be at the top of the class. Xia Shui looked up at the sky. Of course, it's more than that. I'm aiming to get into Xiaojing Academy. So, you better get into Xiaojing Academy too. You got that? To get into Xiaojing Academy, you needed to be at least level 14, and a safe bet was level 15, but level 16 was better. With only a little over 2 days left, Lin Moyu figured Xia Shui would only reach level 14 at best, and level 15 would be a stretch, unless, Lin Moyu muttered, you should try the nightmare difficulty dungeon. That would be a lot faster. Are you kidding me? Elite teams aren't exactly easy to find. Those teams want professionals at level 16 and 17. I'm only level 12. No one wants me. Xia Shui rolled her eyes, as if to say, do you even know what you're talking about? Looking at the elite teams waving banners and trying to recruit people at the dungeon entrance, on top of class and level requirements, they also had gear requirements. Unless you were a healer, the requirements could be a little lower, but a DPS class like Xia Shui had the highest standards to meet. Seeing that Lin Moyu wasn't saying anything, Xia Shui continued, that's why I'm just gonna grind a few more normal dungeons. Level 14 should be doable, and maybe with some luck, I can hit level 15. Hearing her, Lin Moyu finally asked, how are you bypassing the cooldown? Chapter 35 I#039, LL take you to brush the copy, you don #039, T need to do it. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xia Shui looked genuinely surprised, you don't even know that. Then, a playful smile crossed her face. So, there are things you don't know. Lin Moyu simply looked at her, not responding. Was it really that funny? I'm not a walking encyclopedia. there's bound to be stuff I'm clueless about. Xia Shui seemed to have found her amusement for the day, a smirk playing on her lips. Say something nice, and maybe I'll tell you. Lin Moyu turned his head and closed his eyes. If she doesn't want to tell me, fine. But sweet-talking her? No way. Seeing his reaction, Xia Shui's interest faded. What a dork, can't even take a joke. You'd think mages would be quick-witted and adaptable. How can you be so stiff? I'm starting to think you're a fake mage. Anyway, I'm using a cooling amulet, that's why. Lin Moyu searched his memory for information on cooling talismans but came up blank. Didn't even know those existed. They sure didn't teach us that in school. Xia Shui explained, a cooling amulet resets the cooldown timer on dungeons, so you can run them over and over. She held out her hand, offering Lin Moyu a palm-sized object. This is it. The amulet resembled a gemstone, shining with an alluring light, and etched with all sorts of mysterious, incomprehensible runes. A faint glow emanated from her fingertips. Using his analyze skill, Lin Moyu saw the item's information. Basic cooling amulet, uses remaining, 7 out of 10, Description, resets the cooldown timer of dungeons. Only effective for dungeons below level 20. There's such a thing? Lin Moyu felt like he was seriously behind the curve. Xia Shui said, I've been using this to run dungeons non-stop. Now you get it? If I had one of these, I could level up so fast. Lin Moyu asked quietly, are these things expensive? Xia Shui shrugged. No idea. My dad gave it to me and told me to use it. But it's probably pretty pricey. He looked a little pained giving it to me. Xia Shui came from a well-off family. The Xia family of Shihai was a prominent name in Jiangning province. If something made them wince, it was definitely worth a lot. After considering it, Lin Moyu abandoned the idea of getting one. Xia Shui continued, I've got 2 days left, and I'm going to burn through all 7 resets. Combined with my natural cooldown, I need to run at least 9 dungeons to hit level 15. Ugh, this is going to be exhausting. Xia Shui frowned, finally showing a bit of her age and losing the haughty heiress act. Lin Moyu thought for a moment. I can carry you through the dungeons and guarantee you hit level 15, without you having to break a sweat. Xia Shui's eyes lit up. Why didn't I think of that? A powerful carry was right beside her. Running dungeons with Lin Moyu meant she wouldn't have to do anything. Plus, a party of 2 got more experience than a party of 3, less work, more experience. Perfect. The only downside was falling further behind him in levels, but was she really going to catch up on her own? Xia Shui wasn't so sure. After a moment's consideration, she made up her mind. Worry about levels later. Right now, getting into Xiajing Academy is the priority. Her career had just begun. There was plenty of time to catch up later. Okay, deal. You carry me through the dungeons, and I'll let you use the amulet. Lin Moyu knew she'd agree. It was a no-brainer. This way, he could also run more dungeons. Even though each run would give less experience, more runs meant bigger gains overall. It was a win-win. Xia Shui said, then let's not waste any time. Let's hit the dungeon now. Lin Moyu didn't move. My cooldown ends in 2 hours. There were still 2 hours left. It wasn't worth wasting a reset on the amulet. Xia Shui wasn't stupid, she could do the math. Okay, we'll wait the 2 hours. I'm going to take a nap. Wake me up when you're ready. She promptly curled up and fell asleep almost instantly. Sleeping unprotected in the wilderness was incredibly risky, but Xia Shui slept soundly, trusting that Lin Moyu would protect her. Despite their bickering, she knew him well enough to feel safe. Xia Shui curled up, sleeping peacefully with a smile on her face. Lin Moyu commanded his skeleton to guard them, then resumed meditating to restore his mental strength. 2 hours later, Lin Moyu's dungeon cooldown ended. Wake up. Lin Moyu nudged Xia Shui awake. Xia Shui rubbed the sleep from her eyes. Already? That she sat up and stretched, briefly revealing her slender midriff. She freely showed off her gorgeous figure. Xia Shui was tall, nearly 5 feet 7 inches, and her figure was curvy. She only looked slightly shorter than Lin Moyu, who was 5 feet 11 inches. The two of them, side by side, made quite the pair. Only the skeleton warrior beside them spoiled the scene. After sleeping for 2 hours, Xia Shui was refreshed. Her fatigue mostly gone, the two teamed up, with Lin Moyu as the leader, and headed to the dungeon. Entrance. Xia Shui used the basic cooling amulet to reset her dungeon cooldown. A faint light enveloped her, and Xia Shui nodded to Lin Moyu. Okay, let's go. Lin Moyu opened the dungeon, selecting nightmare difficulty. Xia Shui's face paled. Did you pick the wrong one? Before she could finish the sentence, they vanished into the dungeon. Chapter 36. What is efficiency? This is efficiency. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The suffocating atmosphere made Xia Shui gasp for air. Her legs felt like jelly as she stared at the terrifying monster pacing behind the iron gate. The detection spell clearly displayed the enhanced elite monster's stats. Its attributes and appearance were nothing like the monsters in the normal dungeon. Xia Shui looked at Lin Moyu, her voice laced with horror. This is nightmare difficulty, right? Did you pick the wrong one? Lin Moyu didn't even flinch. Nope, I picked the right one. He picked the right one. Did this guy actually think they could handle a nightmare-level dungeon, just the two of them? Just looking at the monster's stats made Xia Shui's teeth chatter. You're nuts. We're gonna die. Xia Shui yelled. Lin Moyu didn't respond, seemingly oblivious to her panic. Just stick with me. What? Stick with him to what? Xia Shui was still trying to process things. The enhanced elite monster had already locked onto them. Xia Shui felt the icy grip of fear. If she wasn't so afraid of looking like a fool in front of Lin Moyu, she'd bail from this dungeon right now. Suddenly, a wave of skeleton warriors materialized in the room. Lin Moyu kept summoning more, until 80 skeleton warriors filled most of the chamber. Then, to Xia Shui's utter disbelief, Lin Moyu threw open the dungeon door. The skeleton warriors surged forward like a legion, charging headfirst into the mine. Lin Moyu was already in his element. The enhanced elite monster roared and gave chase, vanishing into the mine after the skeletons. Let's go. Lin Moyu took off running. Xia Shui was stunned. What the heck was this? Could you even play a dungeon like this? Hurry up. Don't chicken out. Lin Moyu's voice echoed from the passage. Xia Shui stamped her foot. I am not chickening out. I won't let you outdo me. Spurred by pride, she bolted after Lin Moyu. Inside the dungeon, a monstrous procession was underway. Skeleton warriors led the charge, followed by a horde of enhanced elite monsters. Bringing up the rear were Lin Moyu and Xia Shui. What are you even trying to do? Xia Shui asked, panting. Lin Moyu answered casually, farming gear. His nonchalant reply left Xia Shui speechless. They sprinted through the long mine tunnel until the Mine Wolf King's chamber came into view. The nightmare-level Mine Wolf King was significantly larger than its normal-level counterpart. Xia Shui didn't even need to use detection to know this guy was terrifying. Just then, the skeleton warriors reached the beast. The Mine Wolf King relentlessly attacked the skeletons, but they simply kept running, offering no resistance. Why aren't they fighting back? Xia Shui was amazed by the skeletons' endurance but puzzled by their behavior. Lin Moyu barked an order, keep going. Once all the monsters trailing behind had caught up, several skeleton warriors suddenly activated their skills simultaneously. One of the enhanced elite monsters went down instantly, then, its corpse was launched into the air. At the same moment, Lin Moyu raised his hand. Corpse explosion, a deafening blast rocked the chamber, startling Xia Shui. Experience points flooded her screen, accompanied by a barrage of notifications. Almost instantly, Xia Shui's experience bar jumped by 30%. Xia Shui was completely floored. How could you even run a dungeon like this? What was this strategy? Boom. Boom. Several more explosions ripped through the air. The Mine Wolf King, who moments ago had seemed invincible, crumpled to the ground with a screech. It's dead. Just like that, she still remembered how, on normal difficulty. The three of them had carefully planned their strategy against the Mine Wolf King, assigning roles and discussing tactics. They'd only dared to engage after meticulously preparing, and it had taken them over 20 minutes of hard fighting to finally bring it down. Now, in front of Lin Moyu, it was an instant kill. Xia Shue's mind was reeling. She realized this wasn't just a step up from normal difficulty, this was a nightmare-level dungeon, the same boss, but several times stronger than its normal counterpart. Yet, in Lin Moyu's hands, it was instantly obliterated. Numbness crept up from her toes to the crown of her head, and Xia Shui felt like she'd been hit by a jolt of electricity. This is a dungeon. This is more like a leisurely stroll through his backyard, right? Lin Moyu, oblivious to her internal turmoil, simply waved his hand. Let's go. The skeleton warriors had already vanished into the passage. Heading deeper into the mine, Xia Shui snapped out of her daze and scrambled to catch up. Have you been soloing nightmare-level dungeons, all along? That the question felt clumsy, inadequate. If she hadn't witnessed it herself, Xia Shui would never have believed it. Nobody, and she meant nobody, would believe that someone could solo a nightmare-level dungeon at level 12. It was unheard of. Lin Moyu remained unfazed. Yep. Xia Shui pressed further. Since level 10. That's right. With Lin Moyu's confirmation, everything clicked into place. Xia Shui finally understood why Lin Moyu was leveling up so quickly. While she was still getting her bearings in the beginner's zone, he'd already been grinding in the mine dungeon and on nightmare difficulty, no less. If the dungeon's cooldown timer wasn't a factor, Lin Moyu would probably be level 20 by now. His efficiency was simply insane. From entering the dungeon to this point, it had only taken about 10 minutes, and they were already about to face the final boss. Before, when she teamed up with others on normal difficulty, it had taken them at least an hour to get this far. The hulking Goblin King radiated an aura of menace. Then, the skeleton warriors led the swarm of monsters forward, and the elite monsters surged towards the boss. A dozen deafening explosions later, silence fell. A burst of light enveloped Lin Moyu, signaling a level up. Chapter 37, What a Weird Guy, but also a little cute. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This was the second time I'd seen something like this. Even the final boss got insta-killed. Xia Shui was in shock. She wondered if the Goblin King was Lin Moyu's sugar daddy, just handing over free experience points. Seeing Lin Moyu's level up glow, she exclaimed, "You leveled up again." Level 15, Lin Moyu just nodded. Yep, level 15, Xia Shui grimaced. She was 30% behind level 13, the gap between her and Lin Moyu was widening fast. This is so unfair. Killed the Goblin King, experience plus 25,000, obtained a bronze-level weapon, the Goblin King's long sword, obtained a low-level monster crystal core. Seeing the notification, Xia Shui sighed, too bad it's not a staff. You want a staff? Lin Moyu asked. Xia Shui nodded. Yeah, the Goblin King's staff is the best weapon for mages before level 20. I could buy one at the exchange, but then I'd have to ask my dad for money, and I don't want to do that. Suddenly, something dark zipped toward her. Xia Shui instinctively reached out and caught it. Goblin King's staff. It was the exact staff she'd been wanting. Here, Lin Moyu said casually, just a staff, no big deal. Xia Shui froze, then finally said, thanks. Then she looked puzzled. Why aren't you using it? Lin Moyu held up the Goblin King's spellbook. I use this. Spellbooks and staffs are both mage weapons, but most mages choose staffs. Staffs look impressive and can be used for blocking or simple physical attacks. Spellbooks don't offer those options. Staffs are generally more practical. That's what everyone thought. Xia Shui didn't get it. But staffs are more practical than spellbooks. Lin Moyu shook his head. I just don't like staffs. Xia Shui had no comeback for that, so that's the reason. Come to think of it, she hadn't even seen Lin Moyu take out the spellbook. Maybe the spellbook gives a tiny bonus, but he doesn't even care. Lin Moyu wasn't thinking about any of that. He was checking his upgraded stats. Name, Lin Moyu. Class, Necromancer. Unique. level, 15, 8%, dot, strength, 200, dot, agility, 200, dot, spirit, 800, plus 20, dot, constitution, 200, plus 20, dot, equipment, Goblin King Spellbook, Robe of Knowledge, dot, summoning capacity, 84/150, Skeleton Warriors, quantity, 84, dot, talent, comprehensive amplification, level 2, unique, dot, passive skill, damage transfer, dot, active skills, soul flame, level 15, summon skeleton warrior, level 15, corpse explosion, level 1, dot, comprehensive amplification, level 2 all. Skill effects increased by 20x. Damage transfer, all damage received by the caster is transferred to the summoned unit. Soul flame, level 15 burns the target's soul, inflicting burning damage. Power depends on spirit and skill level. Summon skeleton warrior, level 15 summons a bronze rank skeleton warrior. Corpse explosion, level 1 detonates a corpse, dealing damage equal to 10% of the corpse's HP to enemies within 1 meter. Finally reached level 15. Now he felt much more confident about getting into Xia Jing Academy. Level 16 would be ideal, but even if he didn't make it, it shouldn't be a problem. After level 15, the experience gain slowed down again. Lin Moyu had hoped to get around 12% experience, but he only got 8%. They were in a party of 2, and Xia Shui took some of the experience, but yeah, it was definitely slow going. Lin Moyu ran the numbers in his head. Xia Shui's cooldown reset item could let them run the dungeon 3 times in a row. At his speed, that would take about half an hour, then there would be 2 natural cooldown periods, so they could still run it 5 times. Of course, he had to bring Xia Shui along for the last 2 runs. He couldn't ditch her after they teamed up at the start. That's just not cool. 5 runs as a team should be enough to reach level 16. Looking at the Goblin King lying on the ground, Lin Moyu said softly, "Sorry, I might have to kill you 5 more times." Xia Shui gave him a weird look. "Why are you talking to the boss? It doesn't understand." Lin Moyu replied quietly, "I just wanted to say it. It doesn't matter if he understands." Xia Shui looked even more puzzled. "Then why bother?" Lin Moyu didn't answer. For some reason, seeing Lin Moyu apologize to the boss made Xia Shui think he was kind of cute, who seriously apologized to a boss like that. Dungeons are for grinding, bosses are for killing. Sure, the bosses in the high-level dungeons had probably been killed 1,000,000 times, but they'd also killed countless players. No need for apologies. What a weirdo, but kinda cute. Xia Shui giggled. Lin Moyu just gave her a strange look. "Let's go. Next run." "Okay, let's go." Chapter 38. If you can, get a provincial champion. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Leaving the instance, Xia Shui immediately used the primary cooling talisman. 10 seconds later, they were back in the nightmare level Shihai mine. This time, Xia Shui seemed like a completely different person running alongside Lin Moyu. She was practically buzzing with excitement. The look on her face was starting to creep Lin Moyu out. Was she really that pumped? It was just pulling a bunch of monsters and blowing them up, a basic dungeon, big deal. Xia Shui caught his strange look, her fiery temper flared. "What are you staring at? Never seen a pretty girl before." Lin Moyu had known her for years, and yeah, she was pretty. Comparing her to Ningyi, they were both attractive in their own ways, hard to pick a favorite. One was petite and cute, the other tall and sophisticated, both unique, but Lin Moyu wasn't really feeling it. Ningyi was his friend, and Xia Shui was just a classmate. 10 minutes later, the mighty nightmare boss, the Goblin King, lay dead at Lin Moyu's feet again. That look of disbelief, that pathetic death, Lin Moyu murmured, "For more times." They ran the dungeon 4 times straight, taking less than an hour total. Xia Shui had completely depleted the talisman. It looked faded and dull, no different than any other rock, only if you really looked closely could you see faint runes inside. Xia Shui pocketed the cooling talisman. "This thing needs to recharge." Cooling talismans weren't disposable. Once they ran out of juice, they had to be recharged, but according to Xia Shui, the process was super complicated, required a high-level alchemist. How high level? She didn't know, after 4 runs, Xia Shui had hit level 14 with 20% experience, 2 more runs and she'd definitely be level 15. Lin Moyu was still at level 15, with 85% experience. Once they were both over 15, partying up would only give them a 26% experience boost. Way less efficient, they still had a day and a half before the big exam, enough time for 2 more dungeons. Xia Shui was buzzing. Getting to level 15 before the exam? I'm totally getting into Xia Jing Academy. Lin nerd, you about to level up? Lin Moyu nodded. Soon. For the moment, Xia Shui wasn't trying to compete with Lin Moyu. By then you'll be level 16, and I'll be 15. This year, 2 of us from Shihai City will get into Xiajing Academy. Principal Lu is going to be so thrilled, that every high school principal dreamed of having a student get into Xiajing Academy. Everyone knew how tough it was to get in, only the best of the best made it, and only those who got in could be called true prodigies. Xiajing Academy only accepted 1,000 students a year, and that was the entire Xinxia Empire. Plus, a lot of those spots were snatched up by people from big cities and powerful families. It was hard for kids from small towns to compete. With those guys, last year, Lin Mohan got into Xiajing Academy, and Lu Yun partied for days. Years ago, Su Qianqing got in and became a local legend, which Lu Yun still brought up all the time. Bottom line, getting into Xiajing Academy was a huge honor. They found a spot to sit, with the cooling amulet used up. They had to wait for the instance to reset. Xia Shui said, "Hey Lin, wanna try for the top prize?" Lin Moyu turned to her. "State champion?" "Yeah," Xia Shui said. "If you win, you get tons of points. And at Xiajing Academy, points are king. Plus, you get a shot at joining the School of Creative Theology." Lin Moyu remembered what Ning Yi had said. At Xiajing Academy, points were better than gold, and Ning Yi had mentioned Creation Seminary, too. "You know about Creation Seminary?" Lin Moyu hoped to get some info from Xia Shui. Ning Yi had only mentioned it, without going into detail. She'd said he'd find out when he got to Xiajing Academy. Xia Shui curled her legs up. "Not really. I just overheard my dad talking about it. Apparently, Chuangshan Academy is the most elite school in the whole Xinxia Empire. Xiajing Academy gets all the top talents, but Creation Theological Academy is where the really special people go. Dad said it was super tough to get in, and that I probably didn't stand a chance. But I think you might. You should try. I heard that Su Qianqing got into Chuangshan Academy back in the day. He's the only one from Shihai City to do it." Xia Shui looked at Lin Moyu with a gleam in her eye. She really thought he had a shot. Lin Moyu had taken her to the nightmare dungeon like nobody else before. It had totally changed her perspective. She couldn't even compare her own gameplay to his. "If I get the chance, I'll go for it," Lin Moyu said quietly. He had to go to Xiajing Academy. His sister Lin Mohan was there, and if he had the chance, he'd give Chuang Theological Seminary a shot too. Xia Shui's eyes widened. She pointed towards the dungeon entrance. "Isn't that Gao Yang?" That it was Gao Yang, hanging around the gate like he was looking for a team. Xia Shui cast a detection spell on him, giggling. Who knew this dork was already level 11? Too bad he's a knight. No one wants to team up with him. Running a dungeon required a knight, and not just any knight. A level 11 knight couldn't handle anything in there. Even for a normal dungeon, you needed at least a level 13 knight. Sure enough, Gao Yang searched around but couldn't find a team. Looking disappointed, Lin Moyu said, "Let's take him with us." Xia Shui giggled. "Sure, why not?" Chapter 39. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xia Shui waved Gao Yang over. Gao Yang's eyes darted around, a knowing smile spreading across his face. "You too." Xia Shui cut him off. "Shut your trap, or I'll rip you a new one." Xia Shui was known for her bossy attitude. She only reined it in a little around Lin Moyu. After all, Lin Moyu was even colder, and if she was too arrogant, they wouldn't even talk. But facing Gao Yang, her spoiled brat side was on full display. Gao Yang was taken aback, scratching his head. Just kidding, just kidding. No need to get your panties in a twist. Xia Shui said, don't bother looking for a team. When our cooldown is over, I'll carry you through the dungeons. You'll be level 12 before the big exam, no problem. Gao Yang practically screamed with excitement, seriously? You guys are lifesavers. I need to be level 12 to get into the school I want. You're the best. Gao Yang's expression was over the top. Xia Shui frowned. Do that again, and I'm out. Gao Yang immediately threw his hands up in surrender, instantly turning serious. Miss Xia, don't worry. I'll be on my best behavior. If you say go east, I go east. If you say go north, I go north. What a load of garbage, shut up. Xia Shui scoffed, a ball of fire materializing in her palm. If Gao Yang dared say another word, she'd definitely chuck that fireball at his face. Gao Yang clammed up, your wish is my command, but how long is your cooldown? Xia Shui calculated. 10 more hours. 10 hours was a while, but Gao Yang knew he'd have a hard time finding another team in that time. Okay, you two get some rest and catch up. I'll go grind some mobs. And good luck, Moyu. I'm rooting for you to win over Xia Shui someday. With that, he took off. Xia Shui stamped her foot in annoyance and launched a fireball after him. Bang, the fireball exploded right behind Gao Yang's butt, showering him with sparks. Gao Yang yelped, clutching his backside and disappearing. Xia Shui huffed, that guy's got a mouth on him, always begging for a beating. Lin Moyu totally got it, but he had to admit Gao Yang was a good dude. When everyone else kept their distance, Gao Yang was the one who reached out. Even though he barely responded, Gao Yang never got bitter. Lin Moyu knew his read on him was right. Gao Yang was genuinely a good-hearted goofball. 10 hours later, Gao Yang joined the team. Lin Moyu, as the captain, entered the nightmare-level dungeon. The second he stepped inside, Gao Yang was practically paralyzed. Whoa. Miss Xia, Boss Lin, how did you swing nightmare difficulty? Xia Shui snorted, quit whining and just follow along. You don't even have to fight. Huh? Gao Yang's face morphed through confusion, panic, and terror. Xia Shui wondered if that was her reaction the first time. Yeah, she'd been freaked out of her mind. For the sake of his own hide, Gao Yang stuck to Xia Shui like glue. This was nightmare level. Any monster in here could one-shot him. 10 minutes later, Gao Yang stared at the dead boss, his jaw still hanging open. Is that it? It's dead? Xia Shui glared at him. Close your mouth, you're drooling. Gao Yang wiped his mouth, then suddenly grabbed Lin Moyu's leg, hugging it tightly. Boss Lin, can I hitch a ride on future dungeons? I'll be your good luck charm. Xia Shui rolled her eyes. Have some self-respect, man. You're a knight. Where's your honor? Gao Yang retorted, what good is honor? What does a knight need honor for when the boss is right here? Xia Shui gave up. She just couldn't deal with him. A soft white light enveloped Lin Moyu. He had leveled up. Level 16 was definitely high enough to get into Xiaojing Academy. A few more dungeon runs and Xia Shui could also hit level 15, which would give her a decent shot at getting in, too. As for Gao Yang, his sights were set on Jiangning Academy in their province. It was still a good school, and the requirements were much lower than Xiaojing Academy. A level 12 knight could easily get in. The sun was setting, casting long shadows on the city wall of South City in Shihai City. Several principals stood together, looking out at the wild area beyond the wall. It's almost time for the kids to get back. Tomorrow's the big exam. I told them they needed to be back today. I wonder how everyone will do. Most of them should be fine. It's just a matter of which school they get into. Old Lu, I hear those two overachievers at your school are aiming for Xiaojing Academy. Lu Yun stared into the distance, not blinking. Yeah, both Moyu and Xia Shui want to get in. Xiaojing Academy is crazy competitive. Based on past years, you need to be at least level 15 to feel confident, and level 16 to be sure. That's a tough ask. Level 15 is still doable, but level 16 is rare. In Shihai City, only Su Qianqing and Lin Moyu were level 16 last year. I wonder if these two have a shot this year. Lu Yun nodded. I have faith in them. Lin Moyu and Xia Shui, one was Lin Mohan's little brother, and the other was the Xia family's daughter. Lu Yun felt like they might just pull off a miracle. Finally, figures appeared in the distance. One of the principals announced, "Those are from our number 3 middle school." With the detect skill, they could see the level of the incoming student. Su Zhen, level 12, sword fighter. The principal was pleased. Level 12 was enough to get into a solid school. Su Zhen was something of a celebrity at number 3 middle school, known as one of their geniuses. Oh, there's Wan Ming from number 2 middle school. Wan Ming, level 13, eagle-eyed archer. Students trickled in one by one, and the principals continued to cast detect skills from the city wall. This time of year was basically a pre-exam showdown for the principals, a face-off. Chapter 40. Teleporting to the provincial capital, the big exam begins. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The students trickled back, and the principals were trying to outdo each other. So far, it was a pretty even playing field. Most of the returning students were in 10th through 13th grade, nobody above level 14 showed up. Where are Xia Shui, Lin Moyu, and Gao Yang? Why haven't they come back yet? As dusk settled, Lu Yun started to sweat it a little, his expression turned serious. The three of them should have been back by now. Did something happen to them? Finally, just before nightfall, Lu Yun spotted 3 figures. Here they are. Finally, a smile spread across Lu Yun's face. The outcome wasn't what mattered, just their safe return. He used his detection skill as they approached. Gao Yang, level 12, sword and shield knight. Xia Shui, level 15, elemental mage. The principals were taken aback. It was true. Xia Shui really hit level 15, that gave her at least an 80% shot at Xia Jing Academy. Scratch that, unless she totally bombs the final exam, she's in for sure. And finally, Lin Moyu. The principals were all professionals, second tier level 40 or higher, making them far stronger than Lin Moyu. Because of that, shield badges wouldn't work on them. Lin Moyu, level 16, Necromancer. Whoa. The principals all gasped. Lin Moyu actually made it to level 16, one level higher than Xia Shui, that was moving at warp speed. They must have been running instances like crazy. Gao Yang's sword and shield, and Xia Shui's staff, are all Goblin King weapons. But the drop rate on those is super low. Getting all the right gear isn't easy. Guess they got lucky. As Lin Moyu and the others walked back towards the city wall, Lu Yun said, "Once you're inside, wait in the car. When everyone's back, we'll take you to school together." All 3 heard Lu Yun, but only Gao Yang responded loudly, "Got it, principal." Lu Yun beamed. He was feeling good. He totally won up the other principals in this trial, and this time, Lin Moyu and Xia Shui could both get into Xia Jing Academy. That would be a huge feather in the cap for Shihai City and number 1 middle school. As the principal, he'd be riding high. When all the students had returned, Lu Yun got in the car as well. Honestly, knowing you all made it back safe is the best feeling a teacher can have. Get some rest tonight, everyone. We'll meet at school tomorrow morning and head to the test center. The big exams test center wasn't at the school or even in Shihai City, it was in Jianghai City, the provincial capital. Shihai City and Jianghai City were only 1 letter apart. Shihai City was just another unremarkable medium-sized city in Jiangning province. Jianghai City was the real deal, a major metropolis. Every year, the big exam was held in Jianghai City. That's where examiners from the Xinxia Empire would administer the test. That night, Lin Moyu kept meditating. He was doing things his way and wasn't stressing too much about the big exam. He knew he could get into Xia Jing Academy if he got the chance. He'd even take a shot at provincial champion. He hadn't really focused on it before, he just wanted to get into Xia Jing Academy. But after hearing Ning Yi and Xia Shui talk, he became a little curious about Creation Seminary. Early the next morning, Lin Moyu woke up on time. His mental strength had fully recovered, and he was in peak condition. 100 skeleton warriors were waiting in the summoning space. ready to answer his call. After a 20x boost, the 4-dimensional stats of each bronze-level skeleton warrior were at 5000, plus his own soul flame and corpse burst skills. Lin Moyu was feeling calm and confident. When he got to the school playground, a lot of students were already there. Gao Yang waved at Lin Moyu. "Hey, Boss Lin." Lin Moyu walked over and nodded slightly to Gao Yang, acknowledging him. Even though Lin Moyu was always number one, he wasn't exactly popular with his classmates because of his personality, and his necromancer class made some students a little nervous. After a while, Xia Shui arrived. Xia Shui was way more popular than Lin Moyu. Students flocked to her. She headed straight for Lin Moyu. "You ready for this?" Lin Moyu nodded slightly. Xia Shui smiled. "Then I'll see you at Xia Jing Academy." "Sounds good." Lin Moyu replied softly. Once everyone had arrived, Lu Yun came over. "Here's a teleportation stone for the test site, one for each of you. Just crush it or use your spiritual power to activate it. It'll take you straight to the exam room. One last reminder, your safety is the #1 priority during the exam. Safety first, got it? Okay, start teleporting." The students activated their teleportation stones one by one, disappearing in flashes of light. After everyone was gone, Lu Yun activated his teleportation stone and headed to the test center in Jianghai City. The test center was basically a huge, empty square. Candidates from over a dozen cities and towns in Jiangning province were teleporting in one after another. Thousands of people were taking the test across all the cities. The flashes of light never stopped. The students from Shihai City were all in the same general area. After half an hour, the teleportation finally stopped. A tower descended from the sky. "The trial tower is open." The booming voice echoed across the square. The doors on the first floor of the tower creaked open. "All candidates, listen closely to the exam rules. No talking, no questions. Break the rules, and you're out.